Hi guys, and welcome back to a new episode with me, the Omega Enthusiast. Wishing everyone a happy and healthy new year. This will be my first video for 2021. It will be a comparison video between vintage and its heritage model. So let us get started. For this episode, I have a modern-day heritage Longines Conquest and its original 1956 vintage Conquest model. I will go through and compare everything between the two models and give you my unbiased opinion. Longines first released their Conquest model in 1954 without the date feature, under the case model 9000. And until 1956, the calendar version under the case model 9004 was launched. This unlimited heritage model was first introduced in the mid-2000s. Before I begin, this unlimited heritage model exists in two different case sizes. You have the jumbo version in 40mm wide excluding the crown and the regular version at 35mm excluding the crown. The jumbo version will have an owl marker above the calendar, whereas the regular version does not. You can choose to buy them brand new on the Longines website or at their authorized dealer, and you can also buy them used from many online sources. There's a limited edition version without the date feature that was released in 2014 to mark the 60th anniversary. Longines only released it 600 pieces in faux steel, 60 pieces in solid gold with white dial, 60 pieces in solid rose gold with white dial, and 60 pieces in solid gold with gold dial. Unfortunately, they were sold out almost immediately. Let's compare the dial. Longines did a fairly good job with the heritage dial, keeping the original owl indexes design and the luminous setting. The only major difference that you can see instantly will be the calendar window location. On the 1956, the date window is located next to the 3 o'clock, and on the heritage, it is located at 12 o'clock. There are a couple reasons why they had to do that. Firstly, how the date disc sits on the original movement is quite unique, and the purpose is so that the dial can keep both calendar window and retain the complete 3 o'clock hour markers. On a regular calendar movement, the date disc goes around the movement perimeter. However, on this Longines movement, the date disc is made smaller and lean toward one side, giving the extra space to include the 3 o'clock markers. Secondly, since the heritage models houses a modern-made movement with regular calendar feature, by setting the calendar at 12 o'clock or 9 o'clock will better balance out the rest of the dial. The other difference is the word calendar is missing on the heritage version, but that is not a major concern in my opinion. Now let us compare the hands. Longines did a pretty good job with the hands design. In fact, I kinda like the length on the second hand of the heritage model. I find the original sweep second hand is a little too long. I guess you can only choose one over the other. Whether you prefer the second hand to align with the minute track or have it extended longer than the minute hand. The luminous on the hands of the heritage model is made of super luminova, and on the 1956 hands will be radium. There are a few differences when you compare the cases. That is if you have both watches side by side. Diameter-wise, they are equally the same, measuring 35mm excluding their crown. First thing to compare will be the bezel. On the 1956 model, the bezel has a wide flat surface with a thin bevel on the outer border. On the heritage model, it is the opposite to the original bezel. The bevel becomes wider and the flat surface turns into a thin inner border. Examining the case lugs thoroughly, the heritage model is a slight narrower compared to the original 1956. The case lugs width on both vintage and heritage model measures 18mm. The case lug bevel on the 1956 is more distinct compared to the heritage. Looking at their side profile, the 1956 has a thicker lugs and of course a much thicker case. The case thickness of the Heritage is 10.8 millimeters, and on the 56 case thickness, it is 13.6 millimeters. When you compare the crowns, they are very much identical in design and dimension, so great job on that. Both models will have a special screw lock case back and takes a rubber flat ring gasket. It will require a special tool in order to properly open without marking the back. Since the movement is thicker on the Vintage model, the case back is made thicker compared to the Heritage. One major difference between the case back are their case back medallion. When Longines first launched their Conquest line in 1954, the solid gold version will come with the wave with 8-star medallion, and the steel back version will have the fish medallion. However, Longines decided to stick to the wave with 8-star medallion for all the Unlimited Heritage model. I know you guys are waiting for this. Let us compare the movement. The 1956 Heritage model takes a 19 jewel caliber 19 ASD automatic movement. 19 ASD is the calendar version of the base movement 19A. The movement inside the Heritage model is a Longines 25 jewels caliber L633.5 automatic movement, which is also an ETA 2824-2 movement. If you have no issue owning a modern watch, I recommend the Heritage Conquest over the original Vintage. So why is that? For performance-wise, caliber L633.5 is a much better movement than the original Vintage 19 ASD caliber. In fact, after working on so many vintage Longines watches, I find that the 1950s automatic caliber are not very well made. The automatic system is usually in poor shape and appear to wear down much faster. On the Heritage model, the automatic weight has a ball bearing, which allows the weight to spin freely even with the slightest wrist movement. To change the calendar on the 1956 version, you can pull the crown, turn the hands every 24 hours for each date to advance, or you can turn the hands every 24 hours until the date advance, then you counterclock turn the hands back to 9 p.m. and then turn it back to 12 midnight again for each date to change. That is the sort of like a quick set to change the date. And for the Heritage version, if you pull the crown out, just the first knob, you'll be able to quick set change the calendar. And if you pull it out to the second knob, you'll be able to change the time and also change the date every 24 hours. And this is how both watches will look on my wrist. That's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my review video between vintage and modern. Longines does make some of the best reissue watches. If you guys enjoy watching it, please support the channel by hitting on that thumbs up button below, and do not forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of my future episodes. If you have any question or comment, please leave them in the comment section below. You can also support my work on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.